Oh, world of YouTube, Archie back here with the missing 31 years. I said last night this might be it would have been my last video, being my last video, but it is not. I have went over some stuff that I had found last night. Like I said, I was going to check out a little more, and now I am highly glad that I did not stop at my last video. I've dug up 3 things, and I'll tell you right now, before I read them out, because I copied all 3 down of what the stories of what were written, and I've been saying it all along, and I'll say it again just to go over, what's been said. The first thing is that I've been saying that Clarence Dean is pretty much a psychopath. Someone who is demented in ways that lead to jealousy, obsessionness. I mean, I can read it all in his picture. The signs of a face. Just because his face in a picture looks so innocent doesn't mean he is, And I've been saying it all along. I've been, like I said before, I've been in these predicaments. I've had a life as of Taj did. And now finding out what I found out now, I'm even more, into this now, because it's what I've been looking for. I mean, all my thoughts and theories, pretty much some of them I can say are irrelevant to these stories. One of them's even real freaky, because the first thing I pulled up was from the Leominster Crime Stoppers, and whatever their organization is that they do. I didn't go on, I only copied down of what it says in the beginning. Did not click on, I clicked on the link, and it comes up to a man that's been missing in Leominster and a recent picture of Taj that is not him, but it resembles him in many ways, that look like him. But in one of the stories, it explains of where this picture came from, I believe, and it's like, wow, what he would look like at 40 years old or 41 years old. The second one has to do with, pretty much talking about pretty much what I've said, that Clarence Dean, I think, pre-dug a hole, buried Taj, and and it had to have happened that way. It just had to. Now that with these articles I read, there's 2 of them are full articles. One of them is, like I said, something to do with the motel at that, and I want to read out. And I also, before I go on, the third thing is Taj. I say, when you look at his picture, you see a humble, peaceful child. A kid that looks like any ordinary kid that just wants to be, a kid. He probably likes, ordinary things, the simple things in life. Humble. One word, humble, can put it all together. And the kid, I already said in my last video, I showed you the picture, there is not a source of evil that could even be in the kid's soul at that time. I don't, if he's alive, I can't say about now what he would be like, because I know when I was a kid, I used to fight and everything, but I also have a lighter side to me, that I like to be in a place where I just want to get away from the chaos. But I mean, like I say, him, I know for a fact, and now that I read this article, and like I said, you can believe me or not, I did not you know, extend any other information but what I read in the newspaper article of what I have. You know, I did not look anywhere else until now. Believe it or not. I don't care if you don't believe it, but believe it. Everything I've done in my videos were related to the newspaper article. These next, like I say, these next articles, these 2 articles and this one thing, it literally freaked me out. Hand up on ends, just freaked, because some of it is related to what I've already said. And yeah, you'll probably think, oh, you got it off the website, but I did not. I got this last night. I copied them last night, and now I am got a little time again to do this. And the first thing that I am going to bring up, so hang on a sec, because I gotta pull up it. Missing persons, Leominster Crime Stoppers. Now, last night, like I said, I was gonna try and find out more information, and what I typed in the browser square was murder on Naples Street, Leominster, Mass. And probably there was like maybe 2 or 3 things that had to do with a house for sale. The 4th thing, or maybe the 3rd thing, came up with this, and it was LeominsterCrimeStoppersWeb.com. Missing. ASPX, I don't know what that means. Share unsolved crimes. Known location. Here's the freaky thing of just, you know, gotta get it out right to put my video in for the Leominster Motor Inn. I don't care, whatever. I said I wasn't gonna mention it, but I did. Because you know what? The Leominster Motor Inn, I had the ghost experience. Now, known location, and it says it black and white. And I quote, Leominster Motor Inn, Naples Street in Leominster. 9-year-old Taj Narbonne left his Naples Street home on March 31st, 1981. And it says what I typed in. Type in murder on Naples Street in Leominster, Mass. Now to hear the Leominster Motor Inn and Naples Street in Leominster in the same paragraph, I'm blown away. I am totally blown away. And that was the first thing I typed in last night to look for more info. Now I'm freaked because like I said, I did not open this article up until 2011, and I did not look on nothing else rather than the newspaper articles. I want people to see. The only reason why I say this, and the only reason why I did it that way, is because I didn't know how much info was out there. I didn't think, and there's not much info out there either if you look up stuff, because it comes up mostly double articles of the same. In the actually one of my videos come up now, and there's the actual article that I read out on my video, and that comes up. This came up, but like I said, this comes, you press on the Crime Stopper thing, and that leads you to 2 missing persons. A guy that has, you know, a tall, skinny, thin guy, and Taj. That's all that's on that website, and they tell you who to call or what you can get info for. Freaky. Next is, I gotta look it up here. I got it saved. Just give me a second. The next one I got from is a story written by Diane C. Bedoin. Now, this one, give me a second. It says, 31 years later, detective not giving up on Taj, which that means Detective Abishon. And this says, pictured are 2 photographs of Taj Narbonne posted on the National Center for Missing an exploited children website. The right photograph shows, well, this is all to do with the photographs you've seen in the newspaper article. One of him young, one of them a little older. I want to get down to the point of this. Let me get to the main. Alright, Taj Narbonne. Leominster's own Taj Narbonne went missing an evening with so much time passing. The Leominster police are still pursuing leads, hoping someone comes forward with any new information. Taj was 10 years old at the time of his disappearance from Maple Street home sometime during the night. The blonde, blue-eyed child has never been seen or heard of since that fateful night. Leominster Detective Patrick Aubuchon has taken charge of the case and over the years has retraced steps taken back in the time of Taj's disappearance in 1981. Aubuchon did receive a tip of photographs on a website several months back, which I don't know when this was uploaded, but someone said they spotted and seen Taj, and all this is talking about he sent the photos to FBI labs and it did not come back as Taj, of course. And skip through that. One frustrating thing with this case is police work was different back then. Of course, I've already said this. There was no forensic files. The only thing back then a police officer or detective had was a gut-wrenching feeling. You have to go on what you know of the experience. And right, if you want to be or think like a killer, you got to think like one. You gotta think of what he would have done, or you gotta go here, there, and everywhere like I've been, and think where would he have put the body. So there was no Amber Alerts, of course, or sites for missing. There was none of these websites and all this stuff. Runaway. It was. I'll skip through that because we know that wasn't there. And this was treated as a runaway case. Nothing was started for that whole time. He explained. So there was a week. After poring over reports of accounts of what happened that night, Aubuchon said a few things struck him that led Dean being a person of interest. Now before I say this, I said Clarence Dean buried him. I also, in one of my videos, went back in time to the Farmer's Almanac of that date, March 31st, 1981. I told you in that day, them 2 days, it was drizzle rain. And you can look it up. And this, now, as I read this report, the Farmer's Almanac of that time was 100% accurate. And I'll tell you why, because of the next thing I am about to read. Alright, if you want to look up Farmer's Almanac, press in that date, you will see that it says them 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, 30th, 31st, was drizzle rain. And I stated that before I ever read this, and here's what it says next. Dean being a person of interest, the landlord of the apartment house they lived in said his shovel was missing the next day. And also Annette, Taj's mother, said she found Dean's raincoat that had a lot of mud on it. There you go. If anybody disbelieves that Dean did not take this body and bury it, right here is an actual police report. Muddy raincoat, missing shovel. There's a man that just pre-dug a hole, took the shovel, who knows what he did with it, because he obviously, there's where I say that Dean's stupidness came in, because Dean not only lost the shovel or discarded his own evidence. He brought home a muddy raincoat. Raining. Drizzle. Rain. 2 days. Raincoat full of mud. There you go. And what more can I say? What more can I say? And these are things as it goes on that were not followed up on. Back then, someone's gut-wrenching feeling did not kick in yet. Someone just, the kids are run away, the kids are, no, that ain't what happened. I'm sorry. Abishan said things that didn't get followed up on. So now the raincoat is probably in the trash at the Leominster dump. For one, the shovel, who knows where that thing is. I mean, that thing he could have dug a hole also for and kicked dirt over it and buried it too. Maybe you get a metal detector out in them woods. Maybe you'll find that. And Dean was never charged in the case. Never. And after some time, he was arrested on other crimes and has spent many years in prison. He has been diagnosed with a mental illness and is currently hospitalized in a state hospital, which right now is Bridgewater. Now, Clarence Dean stated to Annette on Route 31 in my video that I read to you in that story that his life is over. He's going to destroy his family. But he didn't get that far, luckily. But there you go. He committed other crimes. His obsession and his jealousy ended. He had no one else he wanted in life but Annette, and now he's at Bridgewater. And that's why I said I want to talk to the man. And this is just, if I get in there and show him what I know about this case and what I as a friend, I can open up doors in his mind. I know I can. If you say the right things to someone like him, of what you know, and talk and speak his language, you will open up doors. You'll open them up. I know it for a fact. And now it says requests for a visit to Dean have been to date been unsuccessful. That means everybody's gone to visit him, like Detective Abishan, and he can't get nothing out of him. But that's it for that. 2 things there that I found: a shovel, a raincoat, drizzle rain. That does not say it in the article I have. It said it was a cool day out. In the next article even gets more crazier and more to where you can't say Taj ran away. And according to previous interviews, she saw, all this is just going over. Oh, well, then you got this down here is of, according to the previous interviews with Annette, because we already know Clarence Dean was, ain't gonna say nothing. But she said the last time she saw her son, he was in his pajamas and got into bed. The next morning she went to his room to wake him for school, and he was gone. His slippers and shoes, now this is another thing, were still in the room. Now, why would a kid run away with no shoes or slippers, whatever he was going to do? Why would he run away with no shoes in drizzle rain? And no other clothing was reported missing. She also stated that she heard nothing unusual during the night, which that's where I say I think Clarence Dean grabbed a pillow and suffocated Taj to death. That's the only way, and muscled his way on top of him. It's the only way you're going to kill somebody without making no noise. And, it sucks to say, but yeah, it's the only way. Unless he knew, unless the case, you can say he knew how to snap a neck quick. I mean, if you can break that vertical spine or whatever in your head and your neck, and if you know how to do it right, He could have done that too. But nothing unusual in the night that would lead her to believe anything was wrong. Annette was 8 months pregnant. And I even said that her 2 kids are born at the time of the 31 incident. But the Lemonster is only... but yeah, there's another thing. Shoes and slippers in the room while it was raining out. And you know something else. I mean, I don't want to go too much over this because it's all stuff confidential, immediately can contact, yeah. But here's another thing. When the story starts in the newspaper article that I read, it says that as Taj sat at his grandparents' table, it also states that Taj was sick with a cold. Now, I know when I was Taj's age, you would have to put a, set my bed on fire for me to jump out of it while I'm sick. Because I'll tell you right now, when I got sick, whether it be an earache or I get a cold, whatever the case was, being sick back then, I had my butt laying on the couch. I wasn't moving. I was watching my cartoons. I was watching Scooby-Doo. I was watching, the Banana Splits and all that, the monkeys, and I'm watching my TV. I ain't going out sick. Back in them days, kids didn't want to go out sick. They knew they get pampered. They knew they got to sit home and not go to school and ha ha ha. And I know for a fact that if he was sick, drizzle rain, why would he leave the house with no shoes? And that leads me to my next article, which, like I said, this don't say much more, but if you gotta contact them, and I mean the next one says a little more detail, a little more stuff in it that ain't in this one. I'm gonna load this one up. Give me a sec. Oh, and this one was written by an organization website for the lost. Let me get it up here. Now this one is starts off last seen in Leominster, vital staticals. He's a white male, born June 18th. This tells his date of birth. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Last seen wearing, here's another thing wasn't in the other one, was he was wearing a yellow jacket with blue sleeves and a yellow sweatshirt with a picture of Donald Duck, which I love Donald Duck. And possibly, and this is another thing right here, possibly no shoes. Why is a kid gonna leave a house with no shoes? I get up every morning, whether it be I was 5 years old till now I'm 39, I put my shoes on. I don't walk out the door with no shoes unless I'm in a swimming pool, or unless I'm out in a, like when I was a kid running through a hose or something. I don't want to get my shoes wet. But if it's drizzle rain, common sense, you're not gonna go out sick in rain with no shoes. What did the police miss back then on this? I know if I was a detective, that's the first thing. He ain't got no shoes, he ain't got no slippers. Well, why the hell would he leave? But it goes on that he was 9 at the time. You got the number here of the missing case, I guess. Counts differ to where Taj Narbonne was last seen. Alright, here's a mind swapper. I don't know who said these comments. It don't say. But it says, some say he left his house after a verbal argument with his stepfather. Now give me a break. Right here. Verbal argument. There's no way in hell I think Taj Narbonne would argue back to Clarence Dean. Not after the Route 31 incident. No way. The man was a violent, unless I could be mistaken, unless he did want to stand up for himself one day, and that was the day, and maybe he told Dean off. Maybe he did, And the what if theory comes in of what if he did tell him off and Dean got enraged, but to make Taj run away? No. Because it goes on saying, and you'll see in a minute why I don't think he would be running away. And in a way, I don't think he'd be arguing with Clarence Dean either, because what it says next. While others say he was found missing from bed, according to both accounts, he left a note saying he no longer wished to live with his family. His stepfather reportedly hated him, possibly because I don't know, this is a racial thing. I don't know. He was black and Taj was blonde and blue-eyed. I don't know why would someone say that. I don't think that was the issue. I've already explained my thoughts and theory, and I think I'm going to back them up saying I'm 100% that Dean was obsessed of Taj's mother. And I'll say it again. Why? Because in 3 years' time, which the report said on Route 31, they got married and had 2 kids. Bang. And that was it. It was just, I met you, fell in love with you, we're married, and now we're having 2 kids. I mean, these days you don't find people jumping in the gun that quick anymore, unless, hey, I could be wrong. They maybe they did love each other, but whatever the case is, they jumped in too fast, and that's how. And marriages don't last. I mean, you got to get to know the person before you be with the person. That's what I think. My thoughts, my theories, and and then it goes on saying Taj was afraid of him. Of course, we know that, and had mostly lived with relatives since his mother had married him when Taj was 7. So there's a kid bouncing from this house to that house because he's afraid of a stepfather. So why would he, if he was bouncing like this, why would he have a verbal argument? I doubt it. No way. Police at first thought he had run away, which I know for a fact he didn't. No way. No way. As he had told friends he was intending to do so. So I'm sure, he probably did tell friends that he was, but he has never been located. And I've already given my thoughts and theories of why he would not come out this long of a period, but after this, in these 2 articles, there's no doubt in my mind that he's dead. He's buried. And his disappearance started to be investigated a week after. So there's a week after, and Clarence Dean got rid of all of his evidence. No one suspected nothing. No one, Clarence Dean, the smooth talker he is, I'm sure he had the police and that everybody, just like I said, convinced his way out of everybody's eyes and made himself look good. Theories in this case is difficult because no 2 accounts tell the same story. So everybody don't know nothing because they're all just pointing fingers at every direction. And what's up with that? You got a kid missing, but he don't take his shoes. He's sick. He's terrified, and the one thing all accounts agree on is the note he left with an older. Yeah, the note he left. But I already said that. That note was as cold as the 2 days that he came up missing. And no way is Taj cold-hearted. No way. Because it gets further, and you'll find out in a minute when we get to it. And then it says he left with an older child. But still, if he's going to leave with someone, why ain't he had no shoes? And this oldest kid, gave him shoes. But who knows? Then it goes on, this would be much simpler case because there are all signs of runaway child, which, like I said, at them times I even tried running away You know, I was 6 years old. I had my bag packed. I was gone. I was going to my cousin's house. I was done, you know. And then a lot of kids did run away in them times, but where this story sets and what I've come up with and what's coming up now, there's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind. And where them woods are, that motel, and that article, I don't know what that article's got to do with why they put the Leominster motor in with this Maple Street. But as it goes on, if he stayed away from home for any length of time, you know, someone would surely notice him. And this is the big catch. Now, this is what I've been saying. Taj is, I keep saying it, he's humble, peaceful, not a strength of evil. I mean, yes, he could have stood up to Clarence Dean and said something to him to aggravate him, but this right here, what I'm going to read next, will back up everything I've said. Everything I've said about Taj being a humble kid. And why would a child afraid of the dark run off? Here's a 9-year-old, almost 10-year-old boy. And I got experience with this because my 12-year-old is afraid of the dark. 9, 10-year-old afraid of the dark. This kid's still afraid of the dark. Why would this kid run off in the middle of the night? Is beyond me. And that right there, I've been saying it all along when I open up this 1,000 words into a picture. Humble, peaceful, not a stretch of evil in that kid, and there he is, afraid of the dark. I am glad that I did not close my videos up yet, but here you go. Why would he run off if he's afraid of, you know, someone afraid of the dark, they get paranoid. My 12-year-old comes in my room at night waking me up when he runs up from a bad dream. He don't want to even move, he's petrified. I mean, I don't want to get into details what I got to do for him. I don't want to get picked on, whatever, you probably will, but whatever. And there you go. And I got experience on a kid afraid of the dark. And this, a darker theory says that he was murdered by his stepfather. I'm already saying that. My thoughts, who reportedly despised the boy. I already told you that. And he had apparently told friends he was being abused by him. And there's another thing. Taj had apparently told friends that he was being abused by him. When I started my story in my intro or any other video up till now, I've already said it. Because back then I told you, you either got a belt, yardstick, switch, anything, coat hanger, whatever that parent could grab, you did something wrong that literally blows their mind away, you got that beaten. You got it. That's it. And that's why I know, because I come from an abusive home. And I know this. I've lived with abusive people just as sick as Clarence Dean. However, his mother appears to have a great deal of love for him. We know that, and she would have surely reported if her husband was gone for any length of time. He began acting suspiciously, which she did that too late because she almost got stabbed for it, as she said in her article, that she started to suspect Clarence being involved due to the fact that he was plotting an unrealistic story to tell the police, and it was already too late. And yeah, that's where her case comes in, stating that, yeah, she and the jury that was on the Route 31 case did not suspect her of being, you know, hey, she's been with the man and it's been this long now, the kid's still missing. Hey, even the judge didn't even want to talk about her son missing. It's been too long. Hey, he's gone. If he ran away, he ran away. What can you do? And it was just too late. And yeah, it says she would have, and that's the thing. She was in that stage, which I'm not trying to put her under the bus being a bad person, but she was in that stage of I don't see You know, I don't see my husband beating my child. I don't see my husband verbally abusing him. I don't see syndrome. Women are stuck in that, and they're not. I already said that. I know two right now that are in relationships, personally known, personally going through beatings, you know, all this, you know, verbal abuse, cheating. They go out, they cheat. If they go out, the woman goes out, they get beat. You're cheating on me. They get jealous. It's sick. It's sick. Get checked in your head before you go in that bed. And I'm going to continue to say it, because kids of today, people of today, ain't equipped to take care of the whining, the crying. And if your kid gets up in the middle of the night because they're afraid of the dark, what do you do? What do you do? They ain't equipped. They know what to do. They'll smack them around, tell them to shut up. And I mean, and then these, they had a lack of leads for Abishan here. It's frustrating because he steps into a case that everything's just been discarded, like it said in the newspaper article. Everything that was there, and I'm going to say this too, if an officer back then threw away stuff and did not keep evidence, is a moron. I mean, there are cases that have been left, that opened up back in them days that had no forensic files, that they kept it. They didn't throw it away because something maybe just told them don't throw it away. And of course, today with forensic files and everything they can do now, cases back then get solved. They get solved. And now Detective Abishan, him, I can just imagine that he has to go on that gut-wrenching feeling because everything in the past was overlooked. It says it in these two articles. And I mean, it goes on with, I don't know, you know, on the website and everything. And I mean, that's it. I pointed out the important pieces in it of things that I've been saying towards it and things that I, you know, it's just there. It's there. You want to check these websites out? You go for the Lost. You look up for the Lost Taj Narbonne. It will come right up. The other one is the Crime Stoppers, Leominster Crime Stoppers. That one ain't an article, but that one, like I said, that one will show you that Naples Street and the Leominster Motor Inn are in the same sentence, and it's freaky to me. Because I just did my video the other day. I was debating if I was going to put this in because, like I said, yeah, this happened 2010. I opened the article 2011. I've known about this since I was a kid because I remember the missing milk carton I drank out of and the same feeling I got then and now. And yeah, it's all there. And I think now I can honestly say by opening up this, making this video, I was put here to help, and I'm doing the best I can. And like I said, if something don't come up and if something's just not there, but at least you see the story is complete. There is no doubt in my mind now, and there should be no doubt in your mind now, that Clarence Dean took that body, went out in them set of woods, I say they are, and buried him. Or maybe down at Christine Street. Like I said, do not underestimate Abishan. He is the lead detective. I cannot debate and say he's wrong. But I'm hoping when I'm done with all these videos, he'll take in, and that's what I'm saying, if he can get the help to search the two sets of woods. Everything that I've looked up, everything that I've gone through, it's there. And people have said it in their own articles of things are missing, this and that not there, and things not matching up. Well, I think I've pretty much pieced it all together. And to make Clarence Dean not the prime suspect back then, who knows? The officers back then, I'm not trying to bust their balls, but they messed up big time. You know, this stuff that comes up now, it's just, you place it together, it's like a puzzle. It's like a maze. You're walking through Clarence Dean's maze, and it just keeps going and going, but you're gonna get to the end of it once this body's found. I guarantee. And when we break them doors open at the end of Clarence Dean's maze, see you later, Clarence. Have fun sitting and dwelling in your own little room with your own little voices that you hear. Die with them. I read up on Bridgewater lately, and I heard they got their own cemetery. I hope when this case breaks, and I hope he gets found guilty, and I hope the family members of him, if there's any left, leave his ass in there to be buried with all the other sickos that walk in through that door of the Bridgewater facility. And especially people that do things to little kids. Die in there. Be buried in there where you belong, because you don't belong out here with us in our cemeteries. No way. I mean, if I have to, I'll fucking... excuse me, I don't want to do profanity, but I want this to be professional, but I'll protest. Someone brings someone like that to our regular cemeteries. They should die in welter and where they live and where they sweat and where they stink. I've been in jail. I know it stinks in there. I know what it's like to be behind them four walls. And I hope you puke in there all over yourself. I hope you go hang yourself for all I care. Especially for something like this. Could have been this kid's friend to this day, man. You took him away from us. And now that I've gone through all this, my hairs are standing on the back of my neck. I'm telling you, I've done everything with the article, and now I've looked up extra things, and it's all coming together. So you too, I'm pretty sure that I will be having another video on this. I gotta go through some details and stuff. But until then, this is Archie. This is missing for 31 years, and I hope for the sake of Taj and his existing relatives, we find them, we bring them home to the rightful burial where they bring him, and end this nightmare. And I hope maybe one day I could help someone else go through and give, you know, what I know and do some more research on anything. Because now, right here, I know I'm golden with this. I know something's going to come out of it. And thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next video. See ya. Out. Big salute.